Do you hear that, everybody? We are live on the SideQuest, your weekly journey into the wonderful world of video games, video game culture, and the nerds within. And I am one of those nerds, and I'm clicking stuff, and it is all good. That lovely music is by the one, the only, the Zero, the prototype. From our Discord, where you can find us, SideQuesting.com. Click on the little Discord link. Thank you to everybody in there. You can also become a Patreon. Join our Patreon if you'd like. I want to thank all our wonderful patrons. Thank you to the Executive Punctified, Punkdefied. Follow them. Very cool. Lovely person. Probably gonna, if I decide to go to the Game Awards, then I'll probably hang with them again. Thank you also to our producers, Stefan Swanland, Zero the Prototype. That was Zero's music. Exaginous and Jeff Grubb. A lot of wonderful folks. And there's also other folks that are at different levels. We want to thank everybody because it's freaking expensive. Where's the cat? Says Exagemoose. Well, the cat is not here. Sam is typically the cat, but today he is not a cat. And you'll find out why momentarily. I'm Dolly Domofsky. That's Sam Dixon. We're going to have a fun show today. Sam, how's it going?
Oh, well, howdy there, partner. I'm doing pretty good out here in the hills. I'm doing great.
Oh, my Lord.
Just enjoying the nice fall weather. Just put a couple of cows out to pasture, and I guess it's late at night. I brought a couple of cows back in from pasture, and I guess set friends on the TV for him to watch for the evening. I don't know what do cows do at night.
Well, I think that is what they do. They watch Friends.
Yeah, out of Seinfeld episodes. You can only go through the seasons so many times.
It's good to have you back on the show. You've had a couple things to talk about, which we'll get to in a second. There is a reason you look like that you're not your typical kitty self with a baguette. We'll get to that momentarily. We're going to hop into a little bit of news. Let me just say something real quick. Besides, make sure you like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your grandmother. Your grandmothers all love us. We are America's favorite podcast. We've been around for, I think, 62 years. So we are the oldest podcast in history. We've been around since before iPods. Anywho, I want to get this one done quick. So that's why I'm hurrying along. So let's get into some of the news. There's a couple little quick tidbits. One that's kind of big, and that would be that our good friends, WB, you've heard of them, right? Heard of the WB? Well, it looks like they're up for sale again. Bam, look at that. Warner Brothers Discovery initiates review of potential alternatives to maximize shareholder value. And if you read that, basically it says we have we can make some money by selling parts of us, and we no longer care about our actual business. We just want to make our shareholders extremely rich. And by announcing this little news bite today, which essentially boils down to, hey, there are people that want to buy us. I know Paramount is one of them. People who want to buy us. You know what? Fine, we're up for sale. Let's do it. Their stock price went through the roof. So yeah, just as predicted. But how this relates to us, not just from the wonderful like Friends, like the TV show is a WB Jam. great segue there. No, but there's obviously comics and movies and gaming, and very curious what's going to happen to WB Games now.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things where it's, have they become bigger than the sum of their parts? Like, are the sum of their parts bigger than themselves at this point? Like,
sure,
is the DC license worth more than the Tap Dancing Frog at this point? So it's weird. It does feel like a great move. Like it feels like people woke up from the EA thing and they're like, hey, did you guys see how much they got offered to just go private? Like they make like 4 games. Look how much media we make. Like we've got so much we could do. But yeah, I mean, it's as with all of these things, your childhood and your premium source of enjoyment in
Mm.
entertainment comes from these bigger companies that then get absorbed by even bigger companies that then decide that they want to quote maximize shareholder value
Oh,
instead
geez.
of give people opportunities to do cool things with projects and stuff like that. Like it's always this is inevitable in like the end thing. Everything turns to crap. Everything turns to for sale.
Yeah.
Um, and rough. And that means probably a bunch of people working on a bunch of projects never get to see those projects see the light of day. Um, Warner Brothers and Universal was already pretty good at that. Uh,
Hmm.
and it seems like that trend is only going to continue unless somebody shows up with a bunch of money to make this stuff happen. So,
Sure.
yeah, I mean, even as I'm reading the the caption at there at the bottom, like Warner Brothers and Discovery Global, like it's
Yeah.
another one of
Yeah.
these things where it's like these companies consume and consume other companies to become bigger and bigger, and then it's like, oh, we could make so much more money if it wasn't like this, and this is just a company being very blatantly in the open
Hmm.
about it, which feels a little off for these companies.
Yeah.
Like this is maybe a statement that they make like behind closed doors to investors and to other companies. Maybe not in a memo, but this is just nowadays it's like let's just put on a press release
Yeah.
and we'll see what everybody thinks. And as you said, like it made their value shoot through the roof. So,
Right.
in the end of the day, that's what they wanted. So, hey, one of their potential alternatives worked. So good for them, I guess.
It, what's interesting, just to give people a history of what's happened here. I'm gonna come at this from the DC Comics side of things, right? Which directly spills into the gaming stuff. But DC Comics was first launched in like the early 1930s, right? And then sometime in I believe it was the 60s, the company that owned them, which I think was National Periodical Publications or whatever, that actually started DC Comics, was purchased by Warner Brothers. I'm sorry, was purchased by a company named Kinney National Company, and they purchased Warner Brothers at the time, and then renamed themselves Warner Communications. So they've essentially been a part of WB or Warner or whatever since the 60s. And then obviously that grew, that spun off, spun around. They made more purchases. Time Warner picked them up, and I remember AOL was a part of that in like the 90s through 2018, and then just all kinds of craziness after that. Warner Brothers Discovery was 2018, the purchases there. So and they developed games. They had a lot of game studios throughout their time. Obviously, you had NetherRealms. I mean, they purchased a bunch of studios as well. They purchased properties. They purchased developers. They purchased publishers. And eventually you end up with so many awesome developers and publishers that you just put out Harry Potter games. And that's exactly essentially where we are today.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be real interesting to see. But you made a great point earlier, which is that it's wild to see them just brazenly open about, hey, you know what, whatever, we don't care, we just want to make money off this thing that we had intended on doing from the very beginning, which was to screw every fanatic, every fan of all these properties because we got shareholders. So
Yeah.
I'm man, there were so many great games that they used to make.
Yeah, they used to make Lord of the Ring games. Remember that? That used to
Man,
be
they were
fun.
so good.
Yeah,
Shadow of
remember when
Mordor.
they invented an entire system and it was so
Yep.
hyped and then they never did it again?
To be honest, I think the best thing that could happen, and I don't know, I don't know if this is actually the best thing or not, but I'm hoping it would be the best thing, is if they did sell off a lot of these game developers, or spun them off, right? Because you do have companies like, I hate to say Ubisoft, but you do have companies like Ubisoft and Activision and others that want to get into this development aspect. But then you also have the IP side, which is the DC Comics, which is the the Harry Potter. By the way, WB considers Harry Potter to be way bigger than DC. So I think they'd be okay selling off Superman and Batman and all those to a potential buyer. I know Paramount is looking at all of these properties already, so I could see Paramount kind of coming in and getting a lot of them. I can also see Disney hopping in here and grabbing, they could pick up DC Comics. Sorry, JJ, you're not on this podcast. We can talk comic book trash behind your back. But I could see a lot of this stuff actually happen. Of course, Netflix and Amazon have apparently both hopped in and said, hey, we're also interested. So it's going to be, and Comcast as well. So it's just so weird. And it's going to lead to even more closures and layoffs and sell-offs. And it's just, it's a mess, man.
It will make a lot of shareholders happy and not a lot of other people happy.
Yeah, the majority of people will not be happy except for the 1% of 1%ers that are billionaires already. They're going to be really happy. So, hey, pour one out for WB. Yeah, I mean, it's a mess. It is a mess. There is other news that I want to get into. News that is, it's also a mess. And that is that you've heard of Xbox, right? They've been...
I've heard a lot of things could be in Xbox, but what if I were to want to develop something for one of these Xboxes?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. Currently, dev kits are $1,500 for Xbox, the console. But what if I told you that we're going to raise the price 33%? Now are you interested? Because that's happening. Xbox developer kits, The Verve broke the news here that Microsoft is raising the price of dev kits just a month after the tariffs hit the Xbox console pricing. And I'm sorry that this is freaking out right now, but it's because I'm using Chrome. Anywho, it's going from, no, I'm not going to do a free thing here. Oh man, let's go. Crap.
Oh, let's go.
Let's go. Let's
dude. Let's get a monthly plan going.
Let's get a monthly plan. Anywho, they're jacking up the prices from $1,500 to $2,000, 33% jump in price. Oh wow, look at it. They don't even want you to read this article. Thanks, Verge. That's the it's like freaking out. Nice. I think Mattress Firm is throwing off the. Anyways, that's the issue right now. Is that we got dev kit price hikes that.
I mean, if the bad news rock rolling down the hill just continues to roll down the hill for Microsoft and the Xbox brand. I mean, they're not doing they're doing the PR work for Sony at this point. Gosh, was it not Microsoft that also wanted to at some point be like every Xbox can be turned into a dev kit?
That was the very beginning, right? They had started with the Xbox One and it never came to fruition, and then they moved it on to the Xbox Series, and it still hasn't come to fruition.
But you can somehow make a development profile on your Xbox account and run emulators on it, which there's 100 videos on YouTube that'll show you how to do that. You could be playing N64 on your Series X by the end of the night. It's it's in a time period where everybody should be Microsoft should be out there showing people how cool this Ally X is, running Ninja Gaiden just came out today. So that, why aren't they out there showing people man, this thing runs at 60 FPS and I'm in the dang library?
Guys.
What?
Right.
But instead we're getting Verge reports that hey, it's now even harder to develop for a platform, which by the way, that they used to be how insane of a player base you instantly walk into with Game Pass has now been cut in half, or a third or whatever number will be dwindling. gosh, it's not good news.
Uh-uh.
Like it feels like at this point, like even if they came out and did one of those Nintendo sort of ambassador things. You remember when
Mhm.
Nintendo was struggling there? I think it was like towards the launch of the 3DS. Everybody thought it
Yeah.
was too expensive.
250 bucks or 249. They dropped the price to 199
Yeah.
after 2 months
And
of launch.
bundled and it was if anybody had bought it before, they were like giving people like a thing. Like it almost feels like they need to do like something of like that goodwill to like sort of like get themselves because I hate buying into console war drama and all
Mhm.
that stuff. But as a platform holder, you almost kind of need to a little bit. And even if you're
Yeah.
not
It's
like
expensive these days. I mean, it's really
well,
expensive.
yeah, and even if you're not in that space right now, it has been nothing but negative news, especially when you have the freshest product on the
Yeah.
market.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, why aren't you getting people to be out there being ambassadors of this
Mhm.
Ally X?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean it sucks, but throw free copies of Forza and Ninja Gaiden and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
give people like 12 free months if they're going out and buying this Ally X. Give them like a year of Game Pass or something. Game Pass
It's
Ultimate. Like,
Microsoft is the richest company on the planet. They have more trillions than any other company out there. They are the top tier company. And you're telling me that you can't afford to pour some of that back into the system to help keep people within your walled garden. It's bizarre. It's
yeah,
bizarre.
it's like I'm not gonna claim that. Well, I don't think anybody can claim that they understand the Microsoft
No.
business execs unless they actually are one.
Yeah, yeah.
But like in my, I understand the idea of like, somebody that works in college athletics, like, people see the millions of dollars that go out for college athletics and stuff like that. And they're like, why can't this money be used in schools, in the actual schools and stuff? And I understand
Mhm.
that there's different pots for different things. So for something like Microsoft, I understand that like, the Windows brand is different than the Xbox brand and all that stuff, but it's still an overall look of your
Yeah.
company. And I would think like that you would want one to succeed, especially when you've gambled this much on, your Game Pass stuff. You're going out and you're
Mhm.
buying all these Activ like you didn't buy Activision just because you wanted your name at the front of Call of Duty. Like
Right.
you bought it because you wanted to do something with it, arguably. But it seems like at this point, what they wanted to do was what was the quote? Enrich shareholder value. Like,
Oh,
and it
man.
really seems like Xbox and like its
Mhm.
brand might be like the sort of next on the Microsoft chopping block of
Yeah.
increasing shareholder value by cutting and running from this like essential leaky wound of a brand at this point
Yeah.
onto their brand. Um, yeah, I
At
don't know.
I mean, at the same time, I'm gonna share this. Like they said, Sarah Bond came out, who kind of heads Xbox, Xbox gaming and services, and she came out and said, yeah, there is a next gen Xbox. We are making it. Everybody relax. We're always listening to what players and creators want. Um, and she had to speak to Variety because she was talking about the ROG, the ROG Xbox Ally and Ally X. But we're 100% looking at making things in the future. We have our next gen hardware in development. We have a partnership with AMD, and then they said, we are always listening to what players and creators want. Where there is demand for innovation, we are going to build it. And this is the key part. She says we want to make sure that people have a choice. We want to make sure there's an option for the power players who want the latest innovations that push the edge of what's possible. Hey, if someone's looking for a PC on the go, or a casual gamer, or they're an enthusiast, guess what? We got you guys covered. There's the Xbox Allies. By the way, shouldn't it be ALLIES? Sorry, that's grammatical thing for me. We got multiple choices for people. Well, listen, the
Hey, and if you don't want to play online, we have the Xbox 360 for you.
Yes, which is still awesome. I think the issue with the Xbox is messaging. Um, is the ROG a cool product? I'm sure it is. It's also hella expensive, but they are targeting a very niche group, but they're not marketing it like a niche, like it's going towards a niche group. Is the current Xbox Series expensive? It's hella expensive now. It's targeted at a niche group, but they're not advertising it that way. They don't have a clear message. Then they go out and they say stuff like Xbox is for anyone and everyone, and we're gonna put on everything. You can play it on your phone. You can play it on your browser, and you can play it on this expensive, Windows handheld that we have. Well, that's not Xbox messaging. That's not messaging. That is, we still don't know whether we're a hardware or a software company. Because they did raise Xbox Game Pass prices, so you can't double down on this idea that it's for everyone when you've priced everybody out. And so it's just a bad time for Microsoft from that messaging standpoint and understanding what the brand actually is. And I don't think they know what the brand is. Now, granted, they're going the Surface route for their hardware. Microsoft Surface doesn't sell a ton. It's aimed at sort of the power using Windows person, like the folks that don't really, they'll go to Best Buy and they'd rather have a Microsoft branded PC than a Asus or Logitech or whatever. I don't know who makes PCs anymore. Logitech. What the heck am I talking about? So they'll get that version, and I think that's what they're kind of doing with the Xbox brand now. It's just their gaming hardware, and Xbox is maybe Game Pass in general. I don't know. It's a service now, but again, just really bad messaging. You don't know who to sell to. You don't know who's buying it, and you're fumbling it and shooting yourself in the foot over and over and over again.
It's just an incredibly poor time to have like an image crisis.
Yeah, it really is.
And
it really is.
Like, especially when I'd argue that, one of your competitors is maybe having its own, I wouldn't say difficulties. Like, I don't think Nintendo's struggling to sell Switch 2s by any mean.
Right.
I think it will definitely be the tale of Black Friday about maybe moving some of those units for the holiday season, and also the sort of messaging of why people should buy a Switch 2 over buying like a Switch 1 with Mario Kart 8, like Deluxe Edition or whatever they have going. But, and I think it's been a long time coming for Microsoft. I think Sony was able to transition the PlayStation brand away from that sort of like angsty 90s teen thing that both consoles makers were doing, both Sony and Microsoft were doing, where they sort of were able to, in the gaming space, in the games, like sort of transition away from the like kill everything, I'm a insane dude Kratos, and switch him into daddy adult Kratos, a more adult thing, have the Death Strandings of the world, these sort of like bigger adult titles, while also like changing their brand away from being like, oh, we have like all the see-through plastic controllers and all that stuff, to being like more refined like that, offering like an entire desk array of stuff. They have speakers now, they have TVs, they have those
speakers are
brands
and their PlayStation is a premium style device. Like they don't
they position them since like the PlayStation 3, they've been positioning the PlayStation as a sort of like semi-luxury brand. Now, not as far as like Apple, but like, like a step in that direction, where Microsoft has never gone away. They've wanted to go away from being like the teen, like ripping a bong in their college dorm and stuff like that, playing Halo, but I don't think they've ever navigated that well. Right. And their fan base is kind of split between wanting to be the original and then also wanting to be like still the, I want a classy Xbox in my living room. As opposed to the like giant Xbox with the giant green jewel logo in the center that they used to be.
let's not forget that Sony went through their own existential crisis with that PS3, right? Because they went from they wanted to accelerate from a $99 PS2, right? The PS2, they dropped the price to $99, and then they said, "Hey, everybody, giant enemy crabs. Here's your $600 and $700 whatever console. That go ahead, get a second job." And everyone's like, "Holy cow, dude! That's not how you announce a product." And they had to stick with that horrific pricing because they wanted to make profit on every single piece of hardware sold. And so they got that gut punch right at the launch of the PS3, and they suffered. And that's when Microsoft and Xbox really took over because they were able to keep the price down of the 360. Yeah, they had the Red Ring of Death stuff. They had recalls, but everybody was sort of having issues around that time. But Sony had that second almost knockout punch towards the midlife crisis of the PS3, where they had the big hack, right? They had the big network hack.
Oh yeah, when PSN was down for so long.
When PSN was down for so long, because you actually had like whoever Lizard Crew, whoever it was, actually hacked everybody, and Sony had to come back and say, "All right, we got to eat this humble pie." Like we thought $600 was going to be great. People weren't buying the console, and then we get hacked, and everything sort of fell apart. I don't want to say it this way, but that hack reversed Sony's fortune because they said, "All right, we're doing this PS Plus thing. We're gonna give out free games to everybody who is on PlayStation Plus, and then we're gonna keep doing it, and we're gonna keep doing it over and over and over again." And they gave out really good games to where Microsoft said, "Hey, we're gonna start giving out these good games too through games with gold." Even though they were already doing it with like the indie stuff, they started to transition over to the bigger hits. And then that, Sony got a bunch of people buying the console to get PlayStation Plus because they had some good games and good first-party games, And then PS4 came around and Xbox One came around, and Microsoft stepped on that rake again with the price and the always-on connectivity, and Sony went with just fantastic marketing with the price point. And, what did they say? Well, they were like $399 for the PS4, and it just murdered everything Xbox. Microsoft that morning launched their Xbox One at $499, and Sony came in at $399 and said, "Yeah, you can trade with your friends." And I remember being in the audience for that, and it was as if your sports team had just scored the game-winning goals in overtime, to win. So, and Microsoft hasn't recovered from the Xbox One fumbles. They've just been on this downward spiral, and Game Pass was this great blip that kind of lifted them up, and they realized that it's not sustainable because you started hearing developers having issues. You started hearing indies some of them were not making the money back by putting it on Game Pass. You had the rotation of games was getting bad, and you had or good, whatever I should say. The rotation of games was getting inconsistent, and then you didn't have some of you had day one releases, and those would get pulled. You had all kinds of stuff happening, and then you have this mess that just continually they're walking in a farmer field. Back to your cow talk, and it just rakes, and they keep stepping on rake after rake after rake, and it's just unbelievable. And again, it just gets right back down to that messaging. That Sony hack got them to figure out what that messaging was. They had their presidents and CEOs and products people got up on a stage. I remember seeing this. I remember this press conference. Correct me if I'm wrong. I remember this press conference, and they ate that humble pie in front of everyone and said, "We fucked up. This is what we're doing to fix this." And it was awesome. It was not like there was zero ego involved in it. Microsoft does not want to get rid of that ego, and they're not eating any humble pie. And it's just, come on, guy. I don't know. I don't know how to fix it. I know what I can see that's wrong, but
I just wonder, like, are we seeing now, like, what is the complications of being so committed to Game Pass that they held on for so long that it was going to, like, flip the graph the other way? this is now we have to do all of these things, like type of reaction. It just feels like when did they know that the Game Pass, at what point was it we're buying too much studio to make the money back on this? We're making too many deals. Like, is it just that, there wasn't enough people looking at enough different leads that eventually it all came together and it's like, whew, guys, we are in deep on this and it's bad.
I think you're right. The studio purchase frenzy, the mergers and acquisitions after, starting in 2020 and 2021 and, from all those companies they bought. Then they bought Bethesda, which was a huge shock. Everyone thought, okay, hold on a second here. This is kind of big. And then they get Activision and to get Call of Duty, and that's been a complete mess. Sorry, that has not turned out the way it should be because they've lost tons of products that should have been coming out. It's just, whew, man.
Yeah.
Such a wild. Yeah, I think you're right. I think a big part of that is all these studios you've purchased. Now you're sitting there thinking, okay, these guys have to make money. We were able to get money from them because they were on Game Pass as a third party, and it is not panning out as first parties because we still have to pay these people, and then you get into the habit of laying people off and shuttering studios and canceling projects, and you get Redfall, and you get just a mess, just a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get off of that. There is one tiny bit of good news. I'm going to transition to this real quick. And that good news and that awesome news is that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Luigi's Mansion is coming to the Switch, Nintendo Switch Online. Luigi's Mansion. Check it out, man. This is awesome. Switch 2, the GameCube version of Luigi's Mansion. So you already have Luigi's Mansion 3. Then they had the Switch 2 HD version. Now the original one is coming to Switch Online at the end of the month next week. So I think it's pretty cool. Hey, awesome. I'll take it.
Yeah, nice, that's surprise.
Great. Perfect timing, actually. Perfect timing.
I was going to say, I didn't know it was coming out. This is news to me. So great.
It dropped seconds before this podcast.
Oh, really? Awesome. Great. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll be playing that on October 30th, probably.
Yeah. There was one, speaking of Nintendo, there was one little bit of Nintendo news. Let me see if I can pop this open here. This was reported in a few places, and actually I found out about it in our Discord, and that is that the Nintendo patent shows how to play DS games on a Switch. Yes. So if you go to, let's go here. I think it was, here we go. Mike Odyssey posted this latest patent over on Twitter, and this is from Nintendo Life. Essentially, it's going to be hard to see, but there are a few modes here. Let me share this tab instead. There are a few modes here that are showing. There's a few figures. So there's one version where, actually, let me go to this one here. Bam. Here's the patent application. Figure 7 shows essentially what looks like the ability to kind of flip back and forth. To have two screens, like you have a parent screen and a child screen. So imagine the Switch 2 on one screen and maybe your phone, or a second Switch on another screen. So it's essentially game share, right? Because you can do game share now with your Switch. And so what's actually kind of interesting is I can see myself now getting my my OG Switch OLED plugged back in just to be the bottom screen for my for my Switch 2, which is plugged into the television and playing DS games. That's kind of an interesting idea. Another figure here shows the ability to switch, kind of flip back and forth so that you can see one screen and then you hit a button and it flips to the second, the bottom screen. You flip back and forth. That way you can kind of manually flip flop between the two screens, similar to what the Wii U did, right? With the Wii U, you could actually switch back and forth if you remember that. and playing DS games and stuff and other games. And then the third option is, okay, here's that one right there. The third option, is it showing you here? Oh, there it is. Maybe this is the third option. Yeah. Having the second image in this first, like within the first screen. The Wii did this as well with, what game was it that launched on the Wii? It was like the Monster Hunter and a couple other games when they ported like the DS Monster Hunter, they ported to the Wii, and you could play the map was in the bottom right of the screen, and then it was all kind of filled in with the rest of the screen. So it looks like there are multiple ways that they're looking at getting DS and 3DS games onto the Switch.
I mean, Nintendo straight up just refuses you to switch or to move the Switch 90 degrees.
Yeah,
like, they will not. They will absolutely not allow you to do that. I think there was a few like Bullet Hell games that had that mode on Switch 1, and I think a couple people sold like adapters. Maybe Hori had an adapter for it, but yeah, like that just would make the most sense. Oh, you want two screens? What if you made it the other direction? Guys, now you could split it in half.
I could see Nintendo selling a cardboard adapter.
Oh, absolutely.
You put the Switch in vertically. Like they're going to sell their own version.
I wouldn't be amazed if they're going to do the game streaming thing, that they don't sell you, now that they've sold the Virtual Boy, that they don't try to sell you a giant like DS clamshell thing that's like, hey, put a Switch 1 as the bottom screen and a Switch 2 as the top screen, and have a day.
Crap. Oh man, I could totally stay.
I guess it would be Switch 2 as the bottom screen and Switch 1 as the top. I don't know. You'd figure either or.
But that's amazing. Yeah. That one's okay. I'm
Nintendo's in their plastic shit era again, so like I would definitely see them releasing something like that.
So yeah, who knows if this patent's gonna do anything? But Nintendo does tend to do those patents, right? We had the original Switch controller patent, which was just a screen with holes cut in it around the controls, right? And that never came to anything. But this one might, because they are looking at ways to bring even more games onto Switch Online, onto that service, and keep people coming back and paying for it. I think it's pretty interesting. Yeah, there you go. Echoes of Time. I really enjoyed Echoes of Time. I thought that was a lot of fun. That was the DS one, I think. Was the DS one the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Echoes of Time? They made a couple of them for the DS and 3DS, I think. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Let's get into some of the stuff we've been playing. I want to just really quickly jump in with I now have on this device known as a Steam Deck. I've been playing some games. I got some review games going on here, so I'm not gonna show them real quick. But I'm gonna show something that I finally got loaded up that I've been complaining about doing eventually and never doing. And everyone in the Discord just said, just Google it. It's very easy, and eventually it'll load up. But I do have managed to figure out how to get the Epic Games Store and Good Old Games and a few other game platforms on my Steam Deck, which means it's awesome because now I can actually play all those games that I get for free through Epic Games, through good old, through GOG, through a bunch of other stuff, through Twitch, loading them all up on here. And it's pretty nice. It works pretty well. There's some stuff that's locked out because it needs some of the cheating, the anti-cheat stuff. But man, if I can go into this and go into my library here.
If it's a game that like runs normally on Steam through that, and you just happen to have it on GOG, like it's basically running the exact same like Proton layer that it would launch for the Steam version, just on the GOG version of it.
Yep, it's awesome. It's cool. It is eventually loading up here. Here we go. And look at that. I'm not gonna send anonymous statistics. Yeah, disable. But yeah, here we go. Here are all the games that I have. I love it. It's cool. Absolute Drift. I got Absolute Drift. I got Plague Tale. I got let's see here. I got Arcade Paradise. Let's play some Arcade Paradise. Anyways, it's very cool. I'm pretty stoked. I'm gonna be loading up games out of that. So thank you to everybody who actually told me to do it. But I want to get into what you've been doing. Before we get into the game that you've been playing, hey, Sam, you look a little different.
Oh, yes, I do, partner. Is it time to talk about some of these boys that moseyed on
Yeah.
into my house in the past week or so, or the past
Yeah, let's
couple
do it.
weeks, 2 weeks? Yeah, so I got an email from our friend Dally that was like, hey, our good friends, I believe at a bookstore,
Board game.
a board game company, uh, uh, works with a company called T-Turtle, and they have a new line of cloud heads, which is a stuffed animal brand, which features large plush heads and a sturdy bottom to sit them on. They have certain, let's say, nerd-focused brands attached to them. Maybe Avatar: The Last Airbender. You may remember some of those characters. Maybe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or what you see in front of you, specifically Sanrio characters, and their Amazon exclusive cowboy cowgirl line, and more specifically, right in front of you right now, our boy Cinnamon Roll,
Yeah.
number one in our hearts at all times. Cinnamon Roll here, giant head, as you're seeing, weighted, featuring a cowboy hat, a scarf as well. But of course, like every good friend, he cannot be alone, and I'm gonna lose a headset for this. So like a car salesman, I'm gonna be shouting and also not hearing anything you have to say. So just ride with me for the experience for like 5 minutes. So this is our boy Cinnamon Roll,
Let's
of course.
talk bad about Sam.
And Cinnamon Roll couldn't be by himself because he has to be here with his great friend, Miss Kitty, Hello Kitty herself, who is not going to want to sit. Great. Okay, that's Hello Kitty herself. Look at her. Great. Also a cowboy partner.
Lovely.
Second in the lead of the cutest boy who joined the party, our friend Choco Cat, who also is heavy and can't sit. Well, great. Yep, great. And then also, not to be left alone, are the two best friends, Karomi.
Yes.
And My Melody.
Yay!
The whole crew. I believe these are the only ones that are available in this set. I don't think there's any more of the hundreds of Sanrio characters that are out there. But I mean, Cinnamon Roll is the only one that matters. Look at him. He's an expert. He sits.
He's
no problem. I will say that, as I mentioned, they're weighted. You can kind of see here. I'll use Miss Kitty. Their butts are like cardboard. They kind of got like stiff butts here, and that's what helps them sit. They don't sit well unless you kind of like grab their head and get them to sit, but they're great little guys to kind of have on your lap while you're doing work. And they're made of the same material as other popular brands of stuffed plushie. So yeah. And my cats have not tried to attack any of them, which is also a premium when you own many cats and many plushies. So that's our boys from T-Turtle here. They are Amazon exclusives if you go to their website. So go to Amazon and search Cloudheads and you'll find them.
It's funny because Sam reviewed the Hello Kitty game, and so I get this email. It's like, hey, do you guys want to review these stuffed animals or these big heads? And I thought, I could. My daughter is huge into stuffies. I thought, let me ask Sam, because he just got done reviewing the game. I'm like, hey, do you want to check these out? And Sam was like, you know what? Sure, why not? Here, I'm gonna share the image here. That way people can see these guys a little bit more. Look at them. Look at there's Hello Kitty. They're in like, what is it? They're in like candies.
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
candy barrels.
They're like, oh my gosh, those are the candies, like the worst taffies you could possibly have, and that's why they're so wonderful. Look at them. They're Amazon exclusives. Look, there's our boy.
There's our boy.
There's our boy. This is amazing. And he sits better than anybody else does For
I
sure.
mean, any of them you can get to sit pretty well. You just kind of got to
Nope,
massage them
that's the
around.
wrong video.
Yeah, it's just Dally's personal videos. Yeah, you just kind of got to massage their heads a little bit to get them like sat. Once they're situated, they're pretty good at staying there. I mean, you can see Cinnamon Roll is pretty good. I'm going to shake the arcade cabinet that he's sitting on a little bit.
Lovely. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
and you
good.
put
Look
him
at him.
he's so good. And you put him on the arcade cabinet, which is even better. I think that's freaking cool. He's getting ready to play. What's he gonna play? Mortal Kombat.
Probably,
That's
or
how
I
he
guess
rolls.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, there
And
you go. Teenage
JJ,
Mutant
since he's not here with us today.
Ninja. That is cool, man. That's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. You've actually been playing a game as well. That actually goes well with
I was gonna say,
with the Southern cowboy feel, maybe.
Yeah, friend, we're gonna go around the old half mile. That's not close to what NASCAR is. The old mile and a half, 2.5 mile. I
Sure.
guess it depends on the track. Listen, we're doing short track racing, we're doing super speedways, we're doing road courses, we're doing it all here in NASCAR 25. Brought to you by our good friends over at iRacing. The first time that they are working on a console game, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, NASCAR has gone through quite the strenuous couple of iterations when it comes to video games. There has been a couple more like children arcade focused games, but when it comes to like the core, like you want to call like NASCAR fill in a year title, they haven't been doing great. So iRacing Studios here has decided to take the reins. I believe they're also working on maybe an IndyCar game in the future. And of course, they are also well known for their very popular iRacing sim racing series online. So yeah. So with that pedigree, we welcome ourselves into NASCAR 25 here, which is not so much a heavy sim racer. Is certainly more. I don't want to say arcade, but it's certainly more a lax presentation to a car, more like general consumer approach to what I would consider simcade, if you want to call it that. But of a sort of NASCAR career. You start off in I guess you could really start off your career anywhere you want to, but if you want to start off from rock bottom, you start off in the Menard series and work your way up to the Xfinity series, the Truck series, and then, of course, into the Cup series, which is the one that everybody's pretty much familiar with, the NASCARs of the world, the Daytona 500s, the the Rovals, all those good boys, the ones that you see on Saturdays or on Sundays. I'm sorry. The big races are the Cup series. And yeah, so this is a sort of a arcade simulation of that sort of career. Same sort of, you go through the rank and files of getting better parts for your car, getting more sponsors for your team, moving up, having options of, do I do this in-person event, or do I spend time with my team to grow the bond there, to grow, to either get more points to spend on hiring team and crew or working on my car, or get more money or more fame and stuff like that to rise to the ranks.
There's more than just racing. There is sort of, I don't want to say a story, but there is almost like there's a meta game built within it where you're building up other things.
Yes, yeah. It's, if you've played these sort of simcade career sort of experiences before in racing games, it's sort of what you're used to. And it's the same sort of, maybe you'll run a season in the trucks and then get enough sponsorships, get enough fans throughout that season, then move yourself up to the Cup Series or the Xfinity Series or anything like that. And then, of course, you can obviously start a race and just jump into a weekend at any time that you want to with any of the settings. And then I think the bigger thing that people are going to gravitate towards is the sort of online play, right? So you can now do 40-player online sessions. So you can have 40 people bump drafting down the backstretch of Daytona if you want. So it is wild out there. I think the core racing experience is pretty good. It's certainly not, NASCAR has never been just hold the gas and, hold left as tight as you need to. Some of the tracks can be like that, but there is an art form to running some of these short tracks and stuff like that. And then also, of course, like bump drafting and sort of getting in a draft and being able to negotiate through essentially 4-lane highway traffic in an efficient way that doesn't put all of you into the wall. And I think the assists also do a good job of being able to build yourself up from being somebody that's sort of, I do need somebody to hit the brakes for me, because if I don't, I will just hold the gas going into the corner, to kind of showing you how you get into the rhythm of things with those assists. However, there isn't any sort of like training tools. So if you don't understand sort of how like the curvature of these tracks work, and the something like a Pocono where it is a tri-oval, so all three of the corners are in fact different from each other. So it doesn't really do a good job of teaching you that. But the assists are there to kind of like help you just kind of get a feeling for things. But if you're looking for like how you drive these tracks accurately, you're kind of left to your own devices of that, and kind of figuring out by maybe copying the AI or drafting off them and kind of getting their lines and just kind of learning the approaches. But the online is going to be the big draw. As I said, there are 40-player lobbies. There is an incredible amount of people who are driving respectfully online, and then there are also an incredible amount of people who do not know that there is a brake in the car whatsoever. It's funny that we're watching like their promotional video too, and the driver that's driving is not great. Very high in corners and then slams in people and walls. It's very strange, because the online system has a ranking system, so you can kind of get an idea of who these drivers are. So you get points based on how well you do, both in sort of clean racing and respectful racing, and then also in terms of your lap time. So if you're running really fast lap times, you're getting a lot more points, even if you're not driving the cleanest. The problem with that is that they hold these events. So this past weekend, they were holding an event in Talladega where they had A, B, and C rank event lobbies, right? Where you had to be either A rank, B rank, or C rank to get into the respective lobbies. So I started the weekend now off as a B rank, because I had been doing nothing but road courses, trying to race people on road courses, because I think it's funny. NASCAR fans and NASCAR drivers aren't the best at road courses, and that holds true for this game. So it was really easy for me personally to get like really good lap times and high place finishes in races, if not wins, to sort of raise myself high in the ranks. So at these events, they're sort of locked events. So they're at a 3% length. So the race was only 6 laps long. And everybody's slamming into you all the time, so you can't actually achieve a B rank lap time. So as you're competing in the B ranks, your event score keeps going down and down. So to the point where you get kicked out of the Bs and you can't even join the lobbies now. So you have to join Cs, but you actually can't achieve enough points in C lobbies to make yourself go up to Bs, because the races aren't long enough and everybody's too bad of a driver. So it's it's just they're sort of like online competitive scene is just a little mixed up right now. And I think that's where a lot of people are going to gravitate to if they don't join private leagues, or, have a Discord server with a group of friends or something like that. Like I think what's here driving right now is very decent. Like, I think it's a very good first attempt at what I assume is going to be a yearly series iteration. Like, if this is the bare bones of what they build on for NASCAR 26, I think NASCAR 26 is going to be really good. And I think they should probably take NASCAR 25 to sort of tweak things and experiment with things. And I know I was just here like 2 or 3 weeks ago talking about a racing game where it's like, you don't pay them to sort of tweak the game after, you don't buy the game for them to tweak it afterwards. But I don't think the core here is bad. I think there's just certain rule sets that are wrong online right now that I think that they'll figure out. but you can still join a lobby or create a lobby of any course, any setting, anything you want. You want to make a 100% race at Daytona, which I think is like 400 laps or something like that. You want to do a 400 lap race with yellow flags every time people wreck into each other. You can do that online right now. Now, you're not going to have 40 people that start the lobby and end it, but you could find 40 people online and do it. So I think there is, if you're a NASCAR fan and you like racing games, I think this is a no-brainer. You should be getting it and just joining online. I think if you're a casual racing fan and you're not so much a NASCAR fan, if you're kind of looking for an online game, this maybe isn't so much it. But I think that there's enough sort of tweakability here in the sort of car setups and your sort of tuning of driving that people that are sort of like interested in car setup might be interested in checking it out. Like, I don't think this is going to replace like an Assetto Corsa for a GT fan or something like that. But if you're looking for a like sort of like a racing series based racing game on consoles, like I think this is a very good start. And I think it controls well enough on controllers. Like, you're not going to need a steering wheel or something like that to feel like you're doing well. I think you can hold your line and stuff like that really easily on controllers, and you can definitely tweak and dial in those settings to where they feel more comfortable for you. But yeah, so go into it maybe not expecting, your dream online racing experience, but at least a cohesive enough one that you're going to have a good enough time with the sort of NASCAR license. All the cars that are there. I think there's a season pass that they'll be introducing at some point that is going to give you even more like sort of legacy, historic NASCAR, both teams and like liveries and stuff. So definitely more for NASCAR fans to keep along with for the series. And I'm pretty sure the Talladega event was in line with what the event was in person for that weekend. I believe the NASCAR race for that weekend was Talladega. So I think they're going to continue to try to run these live events. So at least like, if you're like, oh, hey, they're racing at Daytona this weekend, you're probably also racing Daytona that weekend in the series events. So yeah, cool sort of companion piece, I guess, to a NASCAR fan for the season.
No, that's cool. I mean, it's iRacing's first dig at NASCAR, first trial at NASCAR, because the license has passed through a lot of different developers. Remember, like EA had it, a bunch of other folks had it, and it just kind of, it's kind of gone all over the place. So, and iRacing's known for like real premium sim stuff, but taking the NASCAR license on is interesting. So I'm curious to see. Like you said, it looks good. I'm personally not the biggest NASCAR fan, but I am a car fan. So I may try this out just for some of the. I may ping you and get some group racing going on this guy.
I know JJ.
Okay.
Yeah, I know JJ had talked about it and was like a little bit interested, because that's the thing too. I mean, I'm not a huge like NASCAR guy. Like, it's certainly not a series that I follow. I think they do like, there is a artmanship to sort of short track racing and super speedways. I wish this had they occasionally turned, oh gosh, what is it? One of the speedways into a dirt track.
Right,
like in person, and I wish they had that here. I think that would be a fun like mode, and maybe it gets added later, or maybe that's something for the 26th edition. I'm not sure that they actually did it in the like in real life 2025 season, so it makes sense that it's not here. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good first step. I know they are. I think there's also like iRacing Arcade that was just in Steam Next Fest too, so they are certainly expanding. And yeah, I mean, I think this is, I don't think anybody's going to be upset by the handling of the license and the handling of the vehicles.
Excellent.
So yeah, so the handling's very good.
Let's say that. Very good. Very cool. NASCAR 25. Well, look at that. Just under an hour. Thank you, Sam, for your wonderful time and your wisdom.
No,
And
thank
chatting
you,
about
partner, for having me on yet again, for giving me a time to mosey on in here, and just hitch up the horse and have a good chat with you by the fire.
That's right. We'll get the fire going here. We'll start burning things. With that, you can find us sidequesting.com, SideQuesting TV on YouTube and Twitch. You can find cheap viewers if you'd like.
At your mom's house.
At your mom's house. Hey-o.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say right now, I don't know if we have publicly stated or will be starting the side questing holiday gift giving
Yes.
thing, because
Yes.
that probably needs started before too long.
Yep.
That being said, I am probably going to be giving away half, if not all, of these Hello Kitties.
That's an awesome one.
Yeah,
Yes.
so probably not in the same vein, but probably
Sure.
for our holiday show and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So definitely hang around the Discord and figure out when that
Mhm.
stuff's gonna start. I definitely Karomi and My Melody are probably gonna go on a trip somewhere together.
Nice.
So if you're a
Nice. Oh, of
Karomi
course.
or My Melody girly,
Yep.
be on the lookout for that. And then yeah, I mean, always as a plug to both of our Discord and stuff like that. Come check out everybody's recommendations for every Steam Next Fest ever. There were 2 or 3 different curated lists that I just jumped into, and I was like, tell me what they are so I don't have to look through things. And
Mhm.
people set that up for me. We also do the gift exchange every year if you sign up. Yeah, obviously Patreon and stuff like that.
Brilliant.
And yeah, do other things. You do all the plugs at the end. I don't know why I'm
Nope,
taking
you did it.
over.
You did all the plugs. That's it. With that,
Great.
see you in the next episode. Oh, go watch Sakurai tomorrow with another hour-long Kirby Air
Is
Riders
it tomorrow or the day after?
tomorrow. It's
It
what
doesn't
whatever,
it
23rd.
doesn't
Day
matter.
after Sakurai.
They talked about how there's more of those stupid amiibo coming and how
Yeah.
I'm probably going to give up my Waddle Dee pre-order or whatever dumb thing so I can get King DDD
And I
because
want
he's
Gooey.
definitely going to be one.
Gooey, baby. All right, we'll see you in the next episode of the Side Quest. Large heads and a sturdy bottom. That's what we're all